This is the AM News. Let's get right into it. Now, a young girl with end-stage kidney failure, Rosemary Boydu, will begin her pre-transplant workup on Thursday after CEO of Engineers and Planners, Ibrahim Mahama, paid $25,000 required for her surgery. Ahead of this, Mahama, the special aide to the business mogul, visited the family to offer more support. Emmanuel Ghc20 has more in this report.
It was a moment of raw emotions as Rosemary's mother fell to her knees to thank Ibrahim Mahama, whose kindness has given her daughter a chance at life. The special aide to CEO of Engineers and Planners in Jota Cement, Rafik Mahama, visited the family to wish them well ahead of the pre-transplant evaluation this week.
I was having a discussion with boss, and that's Mr. Ibrahim Mahama. So he said it's important that I come here to see them, and also before we start the process next week, so that I will see the family and also make sure that everything is fine with them before they leave for the hospital. We pray that every process that we go through in this journey, it will go well, and Rosemary will come back stronger and join her colleagues in school.
Mr. Rafik Mahama also presented 20,000 cedis to Rosemary and the mother for their upkeep.
Mr. Ibrahim Mahama, my boss, as part of the visit, he said I should please give you 20,000 cedis so that you use it for the meantime to take care of yourselves before you report to the hospital next week.
For Rosemary, after years of enduring painful dialysis session and facing uncertain future, hope has finally found her.
Daddy, I thank you all. I really appreciate it. God bless you all for supporting me. As you care for me and support for you, my Lord in heaven will also provide for you, care for you. Bless your work. Wherever you took the money from shall be filled times 100. God bless you all. I never dreamed of this. I know one day I'll get out of this, but I never thought of giving. God will bless me with this such a great opportunity. God bless you all.
For Rosemary's mother, Mr. Ibrahim's relief is immeasurable.
I'm free worry home baby I'm 5 years and Yakupo and Bonodo Onyano Brosomboso Emamo.
For Rosemary and her mother, the journey ahead is daunting, but they are no longer walking it alone. Thanks to Ibrahim Mahama and all who continue to support and pray for them. Emmanuel Ghc20, Joy News, Teman.
From there, let's get into our election headquarters, which is brought to you in association with Petrosol Platinum Energy, Energizing Dreams, Chopbox Technology, a convenient service, German ozone layer, alternative therapy, dental wellness and beauty. CIMA, the Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, and AICPA, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountants. Youth Bridge Foundation, Bridging Gaps for Positive Youth Development, and Syntex Tanks, a strong, a tough, potential real estate, your trusted partner in real estate, the Luxy Paint Smooth Champion. Now, during his retail campaign at Asasetre in the Elembele constituency of the Western region, the national chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, emphasizes the crucial role of Parliament in Ghana's democracy. He stressed that Parliament is the backbone of Ghana's democratic system, and without it, democracy would be non-existent, urging Ghanaians to stand and defend Parliament, warning that if the institution weakens, Ghana's democracy will be doomed. Here's more.
Democracy, we Parliament free asa democracy be anybody. And until or maybe manage Kamibam Kapia Mambo. As I said, I'm sorry, no Parliament home by. The Parliament, who we kill Parliament here, let us say democracy, no, I had I told you, young Tracy, yet the Moja and the Apple, I did Parliament, yes, you are. I do democracy, yes, you are. Young Tracy, Mama, for a mean for be, I'm not trying to make a say, or the young Mama, I say democracy. The parliament in the democracy anyway. But parliament and a democracy. I am a Juma.
Instructed the NDC members of parliament to boycott any emergency recall in parliament.
The Alcoso of Parliament here, one more year control cranny, judge for Elkase, say, my design. A Juma of Parliament, one quatrain, a banu begunia, a baby move focal. They say, NDC MP for them, or PIA emergency recall, and more PIA.
Still on Johnson as said in Ketia, on the other hand, he's rallying party supporters and sympathizers to vote overwhelmingly for the current NDC leadership.
NDC so yamma MPs dodo ambaka ho yentime kwenye democracy lenyira ho.
Moving on, some lecturers from the Simon Diodong University, calling themselves progressive intellectuals, have declared support for John Dramani Mahama and the NDC. They are conducting voter education campaigns in streets and markets to push for the party's return to power, citing unfulfilled promises and deceit by the NPP. Joy News Upper West Regional Correspondent Rafiq Salam reports.
The SDDU-based lecturers first converged at the forecourt of the Upper West Regional Coordinating Council, where they were addressed by their leadership before they embark on the street and market campaigns. Convener and coordinator of Progressive Intellectuals, PI, at the Obates, Professor Elijah Yandao, led the charge.
Is to say that enough is enough of the lame duck regime. You all know that the economy is in shambles. The economy is ailing. The economy is sick.
It's dead.
We are aware the promises the NPP made to Ghanaians. It is just unconscionable to think that a party that has served this nation for good 8 years will think that Ghanaians are just so naive, they are fools to give them another mandate for another 4 years of economic stagnation. So what we are saying is that let's come together and kick this lame duck government out of what? Power.
They averred that a lot of flowery statements and lies were created by the MPP to paint John Dramani Mahama black and incompetent, making them to win political power. They posited that 8 years down the lane, they are not going to behave like ivory towers and are prepared to extricate the people from economic quagmire and servitude they have been subjected to over the years.
If you travel along the length and breadth of this country, particularly you are talking about the roads, you feel very sad for Ghana. Development is actually built upon what? Infrastructure. If we are talking about any other development, is it the social or the economic development, it must be built on what? Infrastructure development. But this government has woefully failed Ghanaians. So there is so much. In fact, they don't even have the foundation to say Mahama didn't do well.
All about family.
For me, Mahama was quietly exited, or he quietly exited the scene just for to allow Ghanaians to make the comparison for themselves. The time is up now for us to make the comparisons. And nobody can even belabor the point that these guys don't even have anything to show for the past 8 good years that they have been in power.
A former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Professor Ajiman Akosa, has strongly criticized the recent cholera outbreak, describing it as a glaring public health failure that demands urgent attention. Now, the outbreak, confirmed by the Ghana Health Service, has already claimed a number of lives in affected areas. Speaking at the 9th congregation of Ensign Global College in Kpong, Eastern Region, Professor Akosa attributed the crisis to poor sanitation and a lack of leadership in enforcing cleanliness at the local level. He called for intensified efforts to promote hygienic practices and expand the training of public health professionals to tackle such diseases in the country. Carlos Caloni has the rest of the story.
Celebrating a decade of contributing to Ghana's public health sector, Ensign Global College has graduated 28 new professionals with master's degrees in public health, equipping them with skills to confront emerging public health challenges head-on. Addressing the press, Professor Jimanbedu Akosa, a board member of Ensign Global College and former Director General of the Ghana Health Service, expressed deep concern over the recent cholera outbreak in the country, attributing it to a leadership void and poor adherence to public health standards at the local level.
For a public health institution is a disease of major public health significance, and therefore it is. Our duty is to promote cleanliness, good hygienic practices. For us, it is a question of leadership, it's a question of professionalism, it's a question of innovation. And therefore, these things are really things that we thought we had dealt with so many, many years ago. And yet it keeps coming up. And it's certainly a major concern to, of course, a school that emphasizes on public health. Of course, we're training the public health professionals who should be dealing with it. And I know they're dealing with it. But it is the cascading down to the individual. That is where the point is. Hygienic practices should be inculcated into every Ghanaian.
President of Ensign Global College, Professor Stephen Alder, also voiced serious concerns about allegations of expired rice distributed to schools, calling it a major threat to public health progress and urging stricter oversight to prevent recurrence.
We have watched with concern as cases of cholera have been detected in the region, in Ghana. We've watched and seen the issues related to not only expired food, but counterfeit medications, all sorts of things that are going to undermine efforts to keep people healthy and well. Of course, prosperity starts with health. And as a public health institution, it's our commitment to work to do our best to train competent professionals who are going to go out and protect the public's health, who can help with the regulatory bodies, with the response bodies, with the health system. All of these things have to come together. When we see issues like we've seen this week, it means that something has slipped through and we've got to figure out why it occurred, and we've got to correct that for the future.
Governing board member Togbe Afede XIV commended Ensign Global College for its transformative contributions to public health, emphasizing the institution's growing impact in shaping healthier communities.
You can see how fast this school has developed. It has created a great public, health professionals who are making impact, making difference across, various communities. And I'm also happy that our programs have been ranked, very highly, not only in Ghana. We are ranked above even a lot of similar programs in the United States itself. And that for me is great.
The Deputy Minister of Education, Reverend Ntim Fojo, is calling for a renewed focus on teacher motivation, emphasizing its critical role in enhancing the quality of education nationwide. Reverend Fojo made this statement during a ceremony to award teachers in the Asin South constituency on the theme, Inspiring Greatness, Celebrating the Asin South Finest Teacher. There's more in this report by Central Regional Correspondent Eric Asante.
The Deputy Minister of Education and Member of Parliament for Asin South constituency, Reverend Ntim Fojo, has emphasized the critical need to prioritize teacher motivation to improve educational outcomes. Reverend Ntim Fojo made this call at a ceremony to award teachers in the Asin South constituency. According to the Member of Parliament, the program aimed to encourage teachers to do their best and be at the forefront of grooming leaders for the next generation.
What motivated me to set up this award? I was born in this district. I was born in a small village, as all of us know, Asin Krua. Asin Krua is one of the most remote parts of this district. At the time I was born, there was no potable drinking water, there was no electricity, there was no telecommunication access. Our road was hardly accessible. Growing from that remote part of Ghana, I stand before you today humbly serving as a Deputy Minister and Member of Parliament because I had teachers who accepted posting to teach me. in my village. I wish some of them were here today. Today, there are many such team photos in our remote villages all over the country, and in particular this district. And the opportunity for them to also contribute meaningfully to our socio-economic pursuits is hinged on the dedication of a teacher. Without a teacher in Asin Kruwa, without the teacher in Asin Manso, without the teacher who taught me in University of Mines and Technology, I wouldn't have had this future I have today. So the teacher deserves every honor there is, and the teacher deserves every celebration. The teachers are agents of transformation. I always say that the Ghanaian teacher is the best in the world, and our Town teacher is the best in Ghana.
The event was at
In other stories, the British Council consultant on the VAT Toolbox program, Ibrahim Mahama, has asserted that Ghana has no funding system that supports apprenticeship. He said in other jurisdictions, industry has a levy fund that is to support apprentices with stipends for transportation and accommodation to enable them undergo practical training. This, he believes, if adopted by Ghana, will help students learn on the job. He made these remarks at the British Council TVET Closure Policy Dialogue meeting in Tamale.
The VET Toolbox project is a project with the objective of supporting partner countries in the design of national vocational education and training and employment strategies aimed at strengthening their VET service delivery systems. Speaking to the media at the VET Closure Policy Dialogue in Tamale, the British Council consultant on the VET Toolbox project, Ibrahim Mahama, said Ghana needs to invest in its human capital to equip its human resources.
We have a challenge for work experience lending funding in Ghana, not only in Ghana, but a lot of countries. But if you go to other countries, they have system where industries contribute to fund apprentices or young people who want to undertake practical training. For example, in South Africa, they have a levy system where employers contribute parts into that, and from that they are able to use it to fund people to go to places. They pay their stipends, they sometimes even pay their accommodation. So they go, even though they are students, they get opportunity to work on the job. Ghana, we don't have that funding. So schools just send learners to places. They give them a sheet and say, go for internship. How the person moves to the workplace in this economic situation, very difficult. This program, because of the funding from the EU through British Council, was able to send these young people to these farms. And not that they went there, they stayed with these commercial farmers. Throughout a period of 2 months, they were being taken care of, their stipends were paid, and they stayed and learned the practical part.
A senior project manager at VET Toolbox at the British Council said even though there is a huge potential in the Ghanaian youth, there is limited resources.
Look at the youth. Now let's get into our business updates with Benjamin Akakpo.
Or he must settle for they need in order to get into work.
Its interest in some two international mining firms in the country. These firms, Cardinal Mining and Newmont Achim, have been acquired by international firms after several attempts to get domestic investors to acquire a majority interest failed. Now, speaking to Joy Business at a Meet the Press session in Accra, Chief Executive for the Minerals Income and Investment Fund, Edward Nanayao-Kranting, disclosed that all was not yet lost as the firm was making efforts to get more shares and interests from these mining companies.
When it comes to investment, there are certain considerations that you need to take. You know, Achim is a producing mine. We have the valuation of Achim as it is right now. There are certain parts of the Achim transaction that we sort of disagree with when it comes to valuation. Those are conversations that we're having. But you must also know that with the Namdini or Cardinal, they started really from greenfield. Sometimes, you know, you need to take into consideration the risk at that point, and how the company is even being valued, etc. But at the point, like I mentioned, we couldn't go in that early point because MIF was not on its legs. Now, with the new valuation coming out from Namdini and it being starting production, we need to sit back and really assess. But it doesn't mean that we are not going to look at Namdini. You see, with Achim, it was important, or it is important, because the president really wanted significant Ghanaian interest in the Achim mine, it being a producing mine. You know, unfortunately, even though we supported significant Ghanaian interests at that time.
And that's it for business this morning. Handing over back to Sweetie Abochi.
Thank you, Ben. Let's get ready for our news review segment. Nanaya Chapim-Jantua is former General Secretary of the CPP. She's joining us, as well as George Aisi, Director of Communications for NADMO. Please stay. We're back in a bit.